Hey, new to the command line and need an absolute beginner's crash course? Stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome to another video. My name is Jeremy. Today we're going to be doing a crash course for beginners on the command line. Let's get started. The first thing we have to do is actually get to the command line. We do that with an application called the terminal. In macOS, the terminal is found in the Applications directory. Applications, Utilities, Terminal. However, it's probably easier found with Spotlight. So hit Command and Spacebar to bring up a Spotlight search bar. And then go ahead and type Terminal, and you see that it's the top hit. Hit Enter, and that'll bring up a terminal for us. I'm going to go ahead and enlarge this with Command plus, make it a little bit more readable for this video. From here, it's pretty easy to see how the terminal may be intimidating to beginners. At least it was for me when I was first getting started. When you first log in, all you're presented with is a blinking cursor. It doesn't do anything, it doesn't tell you to do anything. There's just really nothing there. That's really the major difference between a graphical user interface where you have lots of options that are genuinely intuitive that guide you to that next step, and the command line, which just assumes that you know what to do and how to do it. So let's dive in. The first thing we're presented with is what's called the command prompt. We can see that it gives us quite a bit of information, our last login, and generally speaking, your command prompt is completely customizable. Mine here is pretty minimalistic. It only has the time of day and the tilde, which represents my home directory. If I log into one of my development servers, we'll see a much more general command prompt. Here we see that it gives us quite a bit of information about the server itself, and the prompt itself gives us the username and the name of the machine. The last thing that you'll notice is that it gives us this $sign. This signifies that you're logged in as just a standard user, and that you can't execute any command as an administrator without prefacing it with another command or switching to the administrator's user account. Okay, so now that we understand what the prompt is and some of the information that it provides, it would be kind of nice to know exactly where we are in the file system. We can execute the print working directory, or pwd command, to tell us exactly that, where we are in the file system. So when I hit enter here, we get an absolute path of exactly where we're at. The first / indicates root, and then the next is a directory called users, and then a folder called Jeremy Ward, which is my user's home directory or home folder. The terms directories and folders are used interchangeably and pretty much mean the same thing. The next command is the list storage, or ls command, and it simply prints the contents of a directory. When I execute ls here, I get the contents of the user's Jeremy Ward directory. You can also pass a path to ls to print the contents of that directory. So in this case, I'll pass a relative path of documents, and we can see that we get an output of that directory. We can also pass the absolute path to documents. So if we went ls root users Jeremy Ward, I can hit tab to autocomplete, and documents, we get the same output. And that's important to remember. ls, like many commands, takes options. So for instance, if I say ls flag, the hyphen in this case is an option flag. So ls flag a allows us to see everything in a directory. In Unix, files named with a leading dot are, by convention, not normally presented in normal directory listings, in this case the ls command. And as you might guess, these files are referred to as dot files. So whenever you hear that term, that's all a dot file is. It's just a a file or directory that starts with a leading dot. You can see that the A option of the ls allows us to easily see those. ls also takes a long list option, which is a flag L, and allows us to see, among other things, the permissions of the file, the user who owns the file, the group, the file size, when it was last updated, and the name of the file or directory. We can combine these to see everything. So we say ls flag LA, and it gives us a long list of everything, which is pretty convenient from time to time. Another useful command is the clear command. It's especially useful in cases like this where our terminal screen is getting a little hard to parse. It's filled and a little cluttered. So we can use clear to clear everything out. And now we have a nice fresh prompt in Clear Terminal. With a fresh prompt, we can revisit command options, particularly how to learn what options are available for a given command. If you're like me when I was first teaching myself web development, Google and Stack Overflow are your best friends, and they're pretty good friends at that. But something I wish my future self was able to share with me much sooner in my learning process was the man command. Most commands have a corresponding manual entry which documents pretty much everything about that command. You can access this manual with the man command. So for instance, let's see what is available when we man ls. From here we can see the name of the command. It gives us a synopsis and all of the available options. And it tells us what each of those option flags does as we scroll down. So here we can see the flag A command for all that we used before, which does exactly what it says. And we can see down here that the flag F command looks pretty interesting and could be very useful, especially if we didn't have color-coded output. So let's see what that command might look like. We can hit Q to exit out of that, and now we can execute ls flag A for all and the new F option that we just learned. And we can see that it added all of the visual indicators that was specified in the manual. We have an @ symbol for symbolic links. We have slashes added to the end of all directories. And we have an asterisk, which indicates an executable. Whenever you encounter a new command or you want to dive a bit deeper into what a command can do, the man command is a great place to start. The next command is change directory. The cd, or change directory command, allows us to navigate our file system. So let's go ahead and change directory to the documents directory. Simple ls allows us to see what's inside the documents directory. If we wish to navigate back to our home directory, we can simply do so by cd .. /, which means to go up one directory. So this will return us to our home directory. If we would execute the same command, change directory .. /, this will jump us into the users directory as indicated by the prompt. If we would like to just simply go back to the home directory, executing cd from anywhere in the file structure will always return us to our home directory. To create a new directory, we use the make directory, or mkdir command, and pass it the name of the directory which we want to create. In this case, we'll use demo. Hitting ls, we can see that we have indeed created a directory called demo. Let's change directory into demo, and we can see that it is an empty directory. We can use the touch command to create a new file by simply saying touch and then passing it a file name. So say file 01.txt. Listing the storage, we can see that we created our new file. We can use the cat command to print out the contents of the file by simply giving it the file name and hitting enter. In this case, we can see that the file is empty. We can edit this file with our favorite text editor or GUI editor. In this case, I'm going to use a text-based editor that's built into most Unix systems called Nano. And we simply say nano and then give it the file path. and it'll open up this very basic text editor. We can type some text in here and follow the command prompts down here in terms of what we might want to do or how we would navigate if this was a longer file. In this case, we're going to hit $X, which is Control X, to give us the indication of do we want to save our changes, and yes we do. And all we need to do now is file name to write, file underscore or file01.txt, and enter. Catting out the output of that file should now say hello world. We can copy this file with the cp command by giving it the file, the origin file that we want to copy, and a new file name. And clicking enter, we can see that we have now two text files. Counting out the contents of file02.txt should still give us hello world. Let's go ahead and edit that. Let's say my name is Jeremy. And save it. And make sure that our changes saved. And indeed they did. Now we can use the cat utility to make a third file from the contents of the first two. Now we can cat out file03.txt, and it gives us the contents of both files. To rename a file, we use the move command, or mv, and pass it the name of the file that we would like to move and the destination. So in this case, the new name. So we'll call this intro.txt. Listing the storage gives us the new intro.txt, and we can see that it is exactly the same file with just a different name. As you would correctly assume, the move command isn't just for renaming, but also changing the location of a file. And we can do that by simply saying move, the name of the file that we wish to move, and the new destination. So in this case, we'll just go up one directory into our root directory, or into our home directory. We can see that the intro.txt file is no longer here. And if we change directory into our home directory, we can see now that we have the intro.txt file here. The last set of commands that we'll cover involve the deletion of files and directories. So in this case, we want to remove the intro.txt file. And we do that with the rm, or remove command, and pass it a file name or path. Listing the storage, we can see that the intro.txt is no longer there. It is off of our file system. To remove the demo directory, we'll use the rm command again, and this time we'll just simply pass it the option of R for recursive and the name of the directory, in this case demo. Hit enter. Listing the storage, we can see that the demo directory is no longer there. Hey, thanks for joining me on this crash course to the command line. If you like this video, type solid in the comments below, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.